our wonderful friend Raul, the great Real Madrid legend, put it perfectly. This game is different. It's difficult to extend what specialties come out of a player until you're involved in a game like this. All week long, in the morning of the game, after these huddles, they look up at this and they feel their passion. These multi-millionaire superstars, this is when they relate to these guys and these ladies. The working class, the superstars in the dugout, these magisterial footballers of once upon a time, Zidane and Simeone. Their teams completely mirror opposites. Real Madrid, here they go. This is the hammer, and they will be facing the anvil of Atletico de Madrid.
Keylor Navas, who has been phenomenal this season, expected to be tested today. This shows as a 4-4-2. James could push up a little bit. Ronaldo might slide out. It is lethal nonetheless. Meanwhile, for Atletico Madrid, the Slovenian Oblak, who has been outstanding this season, perhaps on his way to a Zamora. There are a few changes. Saul, of course, going wide with Koke, and look at the return of Augusto Fernandez. Griezmann and Torres up front.
Real Madrid haven't defeated Atletico in the last 5 league games. It's the longest run without a win against them in history. The Dark Invader is fully primed and wound up tighter than a Jimi Hendrix guitar string. The defenders, Felipe Luis, he'll be praying to keep down on Big Ben's up front. They will be tested. The anvil versus the hammer. You couldn't put it in a better way. The brilliant Tico man, Keylor Navas, and another beautiful goalkeeper in Jan Oblak. Get ready, people. This is going to be rock and roll football of the highest order. Two households, both alike in dignity and fair Madrid, where we lay our scene from ancient grudge break to new mutiny fill, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. The Madrid derby.
The ball is rolling in Madrid, but which way will it fall off the mountain? Real and Atletico. Real in their familiar whites, the red, white, and blue of Atletico defending the goal towards the right.
Heavy weather as well around Madrid. You can see this swirling wind, and it isn't just a breeze. This will have an effect on some of the football until the players get adjusted to it. But as we've said in the past, and it's got to be stated at the outset of this game, it can cause problems. Look out!
3v2 if they find their angles, cutting to the inside, fighting free, looking for Isco, but cleared, and the rebound goes wide of Oblak's net.
The James' hands are whirling like a Dutch windmill here, pleading for Benzema away to serve him in. He goes for Cristiano on the inside, or Isco, excuse me, but James is wide open at the other end of the pitch on that far post, but Benzema cannot identify him.
Flicked on. So much asked of Fernando Torres today, responding this season with his 100th goal, one of only 10 to achieve that feat for Atletico. This could be historic if he can find one at the Santiago Bernabeu.
Wonderful quick feet from Varane there early on that led to that wonderful intricate play. Varane hasn't been as usually at his international class standards lately. He's back fit. Pepe as well could have been selected, but went with the young, brilliant Frenchman at the back, along with, of course, the World Cup winner, this man on the ball, the world-class Sergio Ramos. What a ball!
Ball driven in, but Godin in good position. Torres tries to flip it forward, defended by Kroos, who goes down and gets the call. One question in regards to this back line for Zinedine Zidane, and that is Danilo, the erstwhile right back, who has been forced to the bench but stepping in for Marcelo at left back. Played there once earlier this season and actually did quite well.
Good
Here
ball.
Gets a good ball inside. James beaten to it as it's cleared away by Fernandez.
There's a good interception by Jimenez coming across just in the nick of time as well.
Throw in for Juanfran Torres, of course, an ex-Real Madrid player earlier, but now Atletico through and through. Poked free by Gavi. Griezmann giving chase, but no. Ronaldo bumped off the ball.
Typical defending by Atletico de Madrid. Very, very tenacious and covering well in numbers. Juanfran's men, as we said, very accustomed to playing the dynamic Real Madrid and being very successful in their recent run of form. They know how to play and frustrate, and they've got their own lethal attack to cope with, especially in the shape of the brilliant Frenchman Griezmann, who has been absolutely wonderful, but has been in his own little desert for quite a while.
Has not had success against the top five. Of course, then again, neither is Real Madrid. All three of their losses this season have come against top five teams. Against the rest, 16-5 and 0. 16-6 and 3 overall. 11-1 and 1 at home. League leading offense. But the defense has been a bit susceptible. And here they come again. Ball touched to the inside by Augusto Fernandez.
By Fernandez.
Back to Navas. Atletico 17-4 and 4 overall. 9-1 and 3 at the opposing team, but still 1 point better than Real Madrid coming in. Dani Carvajal.
Very sharp in the midfield, Real Madrid in the early going. But tracking back, that's a great challenge.
Saúl dispossessed by Danilo, and the Brazilian bursting forward.
Wonderful interception, and it starts this.
Ronaldo, edge of the area. Second effort on the cross. Poor touch, Godin, still loose. Felipe Luis will clear.
The right ball from Cristiano. It just didn't get enough of a wedge on it, did he? He had a wonderful identifying spot on Benzema and just needed to hang it up for Big Benz to attack. Wonderful interception by this young man, Danilo, who's had his critics. I thought he's been a little bit too heavily criticised, in all honesty. Big shout out, Phil, to the lads and lasses at the Pena Madridista of Los Angeles at Tom's Urban. There's like 10,000 of them lads and lasses crammed into that place.
It's a big bar.
I'm telling you, it'll be rocking. So a big hello to Stuart Wolfenson, the president, and his wonderful supporters. But it's happening all over United States of America, of course, the Peñas, and all over the cities of Chicago, Real Madrid's big home as well, and New York City, and Los Angeles, the biggest of the lot.
Ball whipped long down this near side. The wind takes a hold. 7 o'clock in the morning out there.
Yeah, and you know the beautiful thing about that Peña Madridistas of LA is 50% of them are lasses. Lovely ladies, Phil. Can't beat it. Nice ball.
Touched inside Griezmann. No second touch for Torres.
Yep. Koke a little bit slack, being a little bit blunt by his magisterial standards of late. And Koke needs to find his groove back for the man in black. Good look at Simeone. 2 separate spells for Atletico. One of them when he was a standout player and won the historic double for Atletico.
1996, of course, coming in. Finally getting the silverware with the Copa, followed up with a League, a Europa title in the mix as well. Only Luis Aragonés has more trophies for Atletico than Simeone, who's only been around 4 seasons.
Yeah, what a job he's done. Every club in the super rich English Premier League would love to have him. But it looks like he's thankfully going to stay in the capital city.
If you believe the reports, Chelsea very interested, but he elects to stay and they go for Antonio Conte. That will be interesting. Of course, Juve, Conte's ex-team, with a big match this weekend against Inter. Check out beInSports.com. Benzema down into the corner, well defended by Jimenez, who returns from suspension today.
Again from Danilo. The wind just catching it a little bit. Great look at Zizou there. His team plays the way he played. 4-3-3, all-out attack. And Simeone in the other corner, playing with a rock-solid 4-4-2 in an aggressive way. Both these teams typifying their bosses. It's good play.
Oh! Koke sneaks it across, but there was no one home.
Beautiful by Griezmann when we take a look at this again. And a lovely setup, really intricate, typical Atletico. Nothing too fancy about it, but very, very inventive in its simplicity and players running off of the ball, knowing almost telepathic communication.
Don't forget Empoli Roma in Serie A play, 11:55 today, immediately following this match. Big match for Spalletti and company. Will Totti get a chance? Liga not the only place with drama.
Standards by Keylor Navas, usually a lot more accurate with that. Again, playing the ball higher and then the wind catching it a little bit.
Nice from Juan Fran. Elusively quick, slips through Varane, and he's fortunate it rolled square. That
again,
one.
When we see this again, and I'm not sure if the ball is held up with a little bit of a gust, but the ball's played in. No. Doesn't take any sort of deviation or hold up, but ran just a little nervous, knowing that the big man, El Nino, lurking like a big hungry vulture behind him.
Corner kick, launched to the 6, cleared by Varane this time, strong in the air, but he has been a bit shaky at ground level. Here they come again. Gabi deflected inside, touched back to Augusto. Fernandez rolls it, but wide of Keylor Navas's net.
Nowhere near. Here's Augusto with his finish, but again, lovely build-up. Here's that earlier touch from Griezmann, and then he pulls it, shanks it. Griezmann saying, give me it back, feed me in, baby. Wonderfully elusive Griezmann. Again, so accustomed to this all-in wrestling inside the box. Cristiano certainly being impeded, nothing seen, nothing given.
Fernando drops it back to Felipe Luis, who bangs it off Carvajal. Another corner. Remember, this is a Real Madrid home game, but Atletico making themselves right at home, Ray.
Certainly being brave, right out of the traps, attacking. Bunkering in by Felipe Luis' side, and Fernando Torres hasn't had much of the ball. Griezmann has. He's been super dangerous already.
In swinger as we hit the 11th minute, hangs high, almost finds that upper corner. Maybe a sign of those 20-mile-an-hour winds. Navas seemed to have it covered. Danilo to the inside. Again, favoring his right foot, but to this point looking comfortable at left back. Dangerous Navas, who chests it down.
No, it's a dangerous ball, Phil. Navas does brilliantly well with it, but man, that's a questioning ball into him from Varane, or from Danilo, excuse me. If you're going to play a ball like that back to your goalkeeper, don't bounce it in front of him like that. That was dangerous. Look at it, the height, and Keylor has come down and handles it beautifully for me.
Chest trap, and then clears it away.
Yep.
Here, Koke from the corner.
Keylor Navas again giving a good example. In goalkeeper's feet notoriously not too soft, so he's not taking a chance and cushions it down nicely.
Ball laid back. Marcelo back in training from injury, but not dressed today.
That's beautiful play.
Benzema tried to pirouette, but swept away by Godin and company. James tracking it down into the corner.
Quick, slick football from James originally, and then feeds it into Benzema. Big Benz, so quick and slick with his control so much of the time. Very underrated that way. Wonderfully fluid player that comes back onto the ball and can be as soft as any of the Real Madrid midfield players with his first touch usually.
Ball Bangs back off Ronaldo. It'll be a throw-in for Atleti. Coming in their last away game with a 1-0 defeat in the mini Madrid derby against Getafe. Last game out for Real Madrid, a 1-1 draw at Malaga. In many ways, putting them out of the La Liga race.
Big miss over there is Marcelo, of course, but Danilo gets his chance here.
And again, not that comfortable with his left. See if Juan Fran and company can take advantage. Near side, Carvajal. Back for Modric. Good run down the line, but the defense went with him, so Real will regroup. Hard hit, Kroos goes down.
He's taking a bit of a risk here. Anyhow, Toni Kroos has a square ball onto him, but sees a darting passage for him to squirrel into and taken down.
Out wide, Ronaldo. Kind of a feeling out phase. If he had lost it there
fairly, Toni Kroos, if it had been a good challenge, he was leaving his team very stretched open.
James giving chase, Koke shielding.
Starting to look a lot fitter and sharper. My eyes, James, after having one or two struggles on and off the field.
Cristiano Ronaldo, 22 goals this season. Antoine Griezmann, the leading scorer for Atleti, with just 12. Ronaldo, again, maybe not quite getting as much credit for his assist play with 8. Don't forget, Superbikes in Australia, Phillips Island. Check out beInSports.com for all the particulars.
Ball.
James rolls it wide, near side. Carvajal.
Touch pass there by Luka Modric. It gives this type of possession the freedom to take on a different dimension. That little one-touch, 2-yard, looks like nothing pass leads to this attack. Well played.
Up steps Isco, cleanly shaven again, drops it back for Danilo, quickly to the middle for Kroos.
Real Madrid, good movement, swinging of the play at the point of attack.
Here's James, tries to sneak it inside, gets the deflection. Felipe Luis stripped, and back to Real Madrid. Carvajal for Modric. It was his free kick to Sergio Ramos that equalized that Champions League final just a couple of years back and led to a 4-1 extra time win. But since then, it has pretty much been all Atletico, Ray. And they could use another one here today. Good eye, says Simeone. Atletico Madrid went 14 years without a victory against Real Madrid until they won in the Copa del Rey final at the Bernabeu back in May of 2013. Since then, they followed up with another win, a draw, the victory back in September.
Lovely touch again.
Big win earlier this year. And a draw earlier this season.
Wonderful quick passing on this near side. Opens up Atletico Madrid and they get the ball to the danger man in space. And Cristiano's first touch just let him down when he was one-on-one with a lot of space behind the defender, Juan Fran.
Owls starting to build up for Atletico. This is their 4th.
Well, you sound a little bit surprised, Phil. You shouldn't be. They're not. It's the way Simeone's men play, and Danilo and the Royal Whites know it's going to be like that the entire game, and they'll take their lumps. And he wears his war wounds like a crown, Cristiano.
Driven across, flicked onto the corner and just missing wide, but on. So close.
Now, we'll take a look at how close. I think it's well wide of the upright, but the intention was perfectly delivered. Take a look. It's an absolutely exquisite header here, and it's a great attempt to find the top corner, but I think All Blacks got it covered. Take a look here. Yeah. on target, he may not have.
Isco keeps it in play. Does it lead to anything? Ramos, the captain's armband, tight on that left arm. Inside for Benzema. Ronaldo wide. Danilo. Those neon orange boots. Carvajal will get there.
Measured it.
James. Different with Rodriguez in there than Bale, who is still out injured. Starting to come to grips, though. They've had huge success at home. More than 4 goals scored in each of their last 4 home games.
Good attempt by Carvajal to play the 1-2 with James there. Just fails, but the correct pass. Again, daring football. You see the bald man, Zidane, applauding that. He likes that. Drawing his defenders in and quick rat-a-tat, and you're in. But not against him at that time.
Both men in dark colors. Both men wearing overcoats. Zidane nattily attired in front of the Real Madrid bench, while, as you like to say, Simeone, the man in black, pacing in front of Atletico. Calcio tomorrow. Our coverage starting 8:30, kickoffs at 9. Keeping an eye on all of Serie A. Check out beInSports.com for the TV schedule. Kroos tries to find Benzema, but Jimenez in the way. Modric for James. In steps Felipe Luis. Atleti gets it back.
Defending again by Felipe Luis.
Nice build out of the midfield and a turn by Griezmann.
Switches on.
Outside of the left, but deflected by Ramos. Quickly to Ronaldo. James tries to return the favor, but a step late. Some separation for Torres. Driving on Carvajal, who takes it back with ease.
Poor first touch by El Nino there. And Carvajal, as you said, like a Rottweiler on a poodle there. 1 or 2 boos and whistles coming out for the Colombian with that poor touch there. It's an unforgiving crowd. The demands are extraordinarily high. Remember some of his brilliant games. As they do with this man. Look out.
Ronaldo now on the right side, takes it to the corner. Forced to drive it inside, but no white shirts in sight.
Toni Kroos in the first 20 minutes has been absolutely foot perfect and immaculate, nothing less. He's been coming in for 1 or 2 rounds of criticism as well of how much more he could be in that holding position, in that fulcrum position. But this man again on the ball, he's the fulcrum all right today and being very much varying his passes. That's a crisp ball.
Ronaldo with the left foot drives it in. Godin was in the way.
Didn't have too much of an option either. Even the invading pass into Benzema that time. Benzema got 3 people around him as well, 3 players around him. So Cristiano decides to get the oil warmed through his engine with this, but nothing there.
Booted long by Oblak. This time it's Ramos that was a little overeager. 11 straight without defeat in all competitions for Real Madrid since that 1-0 against Villarreal back in December. 7 straight victories in La Liga at home, and 26-3-1 over their last 30 at the Bernabeu. Out comes Navas. Barcelona, the only loss in that 30-game span that dates back to when Atletico came in September of 2014 and walked away with a 2-1 win. Kroos sneaks it for Modric.
This game's developing just like we expected. Atletico Madrid sitting deep and really taking on the Royal Whites on both sides and allowing them to attack basically before springing out of the long grass. In the early going, Atletico really were showing their fangs, not so much as Real Madrid start to really impose their possession football here without finding a way through to threaten Jan Oblak so far.
Quickly over to the near side. Carvajal, as Ronaldo has slid to the center. Tries to cut back on Koke, but stripped away. Felipe Luis misses Torres on the outlet. Bit of a surprise yesterday. Las Palmas getting its first road win of the season at Eibar. Plenty other action today. Ronaldo tries to flip it back. James now also on the left, fighting through Saul with a nice little spin and draws the foul.
Good young player, this kid. Saul Niguez, Spanish Youth International. He'll be playing for the Farua Roja. And see if he gets a call up from El Bosque for the Euros. Saul Niguez.
Youngster Oliver Torres also has been brought through this season a bit. Available on the bench if they wish. Koke starting a pretty good pipeline for Atletico. Although we were talking about this yesterday, maybe the departure of Turan having a bit of an impact on Koke, who seems to have been a bit more reserved. Into the middle, the offside flag will deny Torres, but that was close.
This one, beautiful dagger ball played through to him, and Torres caught a half a step offside. This was threatening. Brilliant by Griezmann, lovely touch, and he's stranded between the devil and the deep blue sea. Offside.
Is that bad luck, or would Simeone be barking at Torres to get back quicker?
I think it was just, I thought that Antoine Griezmann was going to do one of those pirouettes that we usually see him and then stab the ball through. He's capable of that, but he played the ball back nicely, didn't he? And just caught El Nino a little bit asleep, but forgivable. So quick in front of him.
25th minute reach, 20 left to go here in regulation of the first half. Don't forget Capital One Cup coming up 11 a.m. tomorrow. Liverpool taking on Manchester City. Jurgen Klopp against Manuel Pellegrini. Silverware on the line. Maybe no silverware on the line here, although as Godin is down in pain.
Well, so far, Klaus Gomez, our referee today, has been handling this game nicely. There's no real intention here by Benzema. He thinks that he's going to be able to cushion the ball, but Godin's just too quick and steps in front of him. Took the cleats onto himself. He'll be fine.
Carlos Close, the 43-year-old out of Zaragoza. This is 14th game. Chance for Koke, in for Torres. Tries the quick left-footed shot. Deflected easy for Navas.
Lovely dangerous ball played in by Koke. And a lovely little window of opportunity for Torres to turn and do something with. He failed. Good run.
Bursting forward.
Good lead.
Danilo wide for Benzema. Help and support. In Ronaldo, he'll use him. Ronaldo bangs it out. It'll be a throw-in. Isco stripped. Torres upended, and it will come back. Advantage was played by Klose, but none developed, so a free kick for Atletico. You talked about Klose, Ray. 48 games combined between Real Madrid and Atletico that Klose has been the man in charge. And during the 25 with Real, they have seen red 7 times. And even though Atletico with a more physical reputation, they've only seen 4 ejections with Klose as the ref.
Well, certainly hasn't been that sort of game to even for the referee to think about issuing the red card so far. It's been a good pulsating tug-of-war game, as we expected. Atletico waiting in the long grass, not coming out hunting too much, but that's a peach of a pass.
Ronaldo tries to caress it through. Jimenez blocks it, cut offside.
Well said, Phil. Cover is still applaudable by Atletico on the danger man. As he's released beautifully from Isco. An absolute wonder pass here from Danilo. right down the side. Man, that looks like he's onside from that angle. Very close anyhow. Lovely ball by Danilo.
Just behind Ramos, the two have a few words. 32-time champions in Real Madrid, but they have not won since 2012. And you kind of sense if they fall here today, there won't be any chance. In fact, Ray, is Barcelona even on the minds of either of these two Madrid sides, starting the day with an 8-point gap?
Can't imagine so, Phil. It's all focused on these 3 big points here today on offer. Barcelona will be the benefactor if it stays at stalemate, or if it isn't, results in a draw. There's too big 3 points, and probably the loser can pack up and go home. All the brave words, of course, saying that it's not over. No matter what this result, we're still going to fight to the end, and that's the right thing to say, and that is the way to play. But the 3-point victors of this game will still be in the hunt for La Liga's crown, despite the fact that Barcelona have both hands on the steering wheel and are a long way clear by the Primera of Spain standards.
Modric, nice little flip back to Carvajal. Both of these teams about to celebrate an anniversary. Real Madrid just over a week's time, March 6th, 1902. And while Atletico Madrid was actually started by some Basque students in the capital city in 1903, the next year some renegades from Madrid joining in.
Wonderful cover there by Sergio Ramos. Nice distance between, not too close that Torres can feel him and turn him.
Cross a bit sloppy.
Yeah.
Nice from Griezmann. Touch forward Koke. Back for Saúl. In for Resurrección.
It's tremendous again.
Run from Felipe Luis, but unfed.
Too late.
Juanfran the other way. Tries to drive past Danilo, and a bit of good defense from the Brazilian. Trying to free Ronaldo, but can't. Quickly taken. Down goes Benzema in a tangle with Godin, and it will be a yellow against the big man.
Tremendous quick thinking by Cristiano. The throw-in is picked up quickly and dispatched immediately, and it certainly looked in lifetime that Benzema had been impeded. Let's take a look. Cristiano sets him away quickly. It's a good fair throw. Whoa.
Well, you can take a look at the referee Carlos Close. As Atletico's defenders come over to argue, he points to his assistant Javier Aguilar on the near side. In the replay, you can see he was still looking towards Ronaldo. So Aguilar saw the contact. I think Real wouldn't have minded to see a different color, but Benzema running away.
Good replay of it. It wasn't very close to the action, but he got the message that Benzema on that turn was clipped by Godin. But either way, Dark Invader lines up with his gunslinger pose and is preparing to release hell towards the Slovenian international Jan Oblak. Look out.
Ronaldo from about 25 and standing right on his line. Oblak forced to punch it clear. Back to the top of the 18. James denied. Benzema the shot. Rattled wide.
James does very well. This should be a corner kick. It takes a deflection and it hasn't been identified.
Looked like it hit Felipe Luis on the way through.
Certainly did. I believe. Yes, a nice ball in from Isco. Brilliant control by James, and there's the spin and hit. Can't really tell there, but have a look here. I think it catches Felipe Luis on the inside of his calf, but debatable.
Out Atletico drawing another foul. Torres likes the whistle, but not happy with the attention. Sergio Ramos renewing his battle. Of course, Fernando Torres, Ray, his 299th game today with Atletico.
Take a wonderful look at this stinger. He gets a beautiful dynamic on it, but he doesn't get it to the side of the goalkeeper by about a yard, and that is what costs him the go-ahead goal. It's a wonderful strike. He gets the dip on it. He certainly gets all the power. Not quite that angle.
Moving across, no problem for Navas. That Ronaldo strike, the first shot on goal for either team in the first half hour. Ronaldo, one man in the middle, tries to go around Godin, who's playing with a yellow now. Tripped up as he passes off.
3-on-1 there for Ronaldo, and no darting run ahead of him, just Benzema to the left of him. Needed that availability of somebody. It's usually Carvajal that will always support him there, but unable to leave his defensive hole. He does this time.
Nice from Carvajal, but just beaten to it. Don't forget, Derby d'Italia tomorrow. Zidane's old side looking to continue their run for the title, but their old rivals Inter in the way. 1:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow on beIN Sports.
Internazionale.
Talk about last chances.
Oh!
Nice from Benzema.
Magic!
Lays it for Ronaldo. Poked free by Juan Fran.
A wonderful setup by the French international. He's got it again. Offside called, I believe. It's unlucky from Benzema. Beautiful touch. He tries to find his teammate. Jumping wall. He'll remember that. He gets it over the jumping wall, and this is at slow speed, of course. It really doesn't do credit because it's too quick and too sharp to handle for Oblak. It's a blur coming at him. Give a handball. It's never.
Ray, it's been 305 minutes without a goal for Atletico Madrid. The last goal they had, that 100th from Fernando Torres a couple of league games ago. Of course, the shutout against PSV on the road in the Champions League also.
Surprised that Benzema on that earlier chance didn't just twirl and spank. He usually does. Been very considerate trying to find the inside there for Cristiano. Just a speculative hit may have been better in order.
Ronaldo, high in his stride, lays it off, deflected on the cross. Nice from Augusto Fernandez. Only significant pickup for either team in the winter break, coming over from Celta.
Jimenez having a good game in the heart of that Atletico defense, standing in for Savic.
The two have taken turns this year. Savic unavailable due to injury. Same for Thiago and Ferreira Carrasco today, and that's a big miss with Ferreira Carrasco. Sweeping down Danilo, battles with Niguez and gets the cross in with his left. Not bad, but Oblak in the way. Pepe and Marcelo missing for Real.
Good game out there on that left side. Tenacious and keeps on going and tries to whisk this one in. Just hang it up, Benzema says. Just stab through it and I'll attack it. Goes for the near post. Nobody attacking that. Cristiano waiting at the back post beyond Benzema as well.
Atletico working their way through the midfield. Benzema putting some pressure on.
Royal White's really finding the better opportunities in their wide positions, and the central attack, just failing to play the killer ball time and time again.
Aldrich battling Saul, who comes away. Nice ball for Felipe Luis.
Of course, of his team, they really are rock solid, super well organised, and they look comfortable defending whenever Real Madrid come at them.
Taken away from behind, and Felipe Luis goes in the book. Too much man, not enough ball. Somewhat controversially clattered into, spiked Lionel Messi earlier this season. And a bit reckless there on Modric. And I think that might be what Zidane is telling Carvajal now with a yellow card. Drive in on Felipe Luis and see if you can give him a second. Especially with Godin on a yellow inside of him.
Tremendous hold-up play again. That would have been exceptional had he been able to find Carvajal with that dink ball.
Good cover by Augusto.
From Benzema.
Griezmann.
Nicely.
wrapped in cellophane, as you like to say. Gavi goes in on James. Play continues for Real. Ronaldo wide on the left. Around Saul. Sweeps it across. He'll get to the deflection. Whips it to the 6, and Godin with a patient clear.
And a little bit too much hit and hope from all of the Real Madrid players in those wide positions. Not just Cristiano there, but just that little hesitation to wait and identify the run or the dangerous ball. And Torres robs Modric.
Modric trying to struggle back. It leads to Torres down this left. Has help on his inside. Drives on Varane. There was a touch. Just enough. Got tangled with the young Frenchman. Fans wanted a foul, but no.
Good marking for me by Varane. And El Nino knows it. He's got him covered. Wrapped up here. The ball just takes a bit of a touch from Varane.
Another in-swinger from Koke, again with these heavy winds. Not that much in this corner, though. Near post, looking for Saul. Still loose. Godin, cleared by Ramos.
Looking for Griezmann and not far away from it. Offside, coming back. It was Inglés that he was trying to find earlier. Not this man, Griezmann. Wonderful hocus pocus. Great skill. Like a lot. Only 5'9", but ultra dangerous. And here James knows he's going to get clattered and takes it for the team. Keeps that attack moving. And it led to a wonderful threat down that left side again by Real Madrid. Certainly seem to be favouring that left side. Carvajal not as involved as he usually is on this side, Phil.
That might change now with both defenders on this flank with yellows.
Would think.
Griezmann back. Here's Augusto Fernandez. Superbikes hit Australia, Phillip Island today, 11 p.m. Eastern. Check it out on BN Sports. Motoring through the midfield, Augusto Fernandez, right in front of Zidane to Felipe Luis. Simeone barking instructions. This
beautiful.
Has to be to his pleasing.
Nicely.
Saul inside. Told to make that Griezmann, and just slapping it up was Navas for the corner.
Try, and it's again good connective football that Zidane sulks away from. Really pinpoint accurate, lovely ball triggered into Griezmann, and he's already got his mind made up. He sees, or he doesn't see, Gavi running square to him, and he tests the green octopus that is Keylor Navas, who deals with it well.
Okay, going to the far flank. Drives this to the edge of the 6. Saul couldn't get it. Isco does, pops and clears. Hangs in the air. Navas out. Clatters into Saul.
It doesn't clatter into him at all. He wins this beautifully, Keylor Navas. Leaves his lane and gets his fist of fury to it perfectly. This is a match-winning save, this, for me. Again by Navas. It's a beautiful ball fed up high and with pace for the big men to attack in red and white, and they do, but Keylor comes and saves it beautifully.
Not done yet. Saul back to his feet, but without the ball. Touched away by Real. Carvajal all the way on that left side, and eludes Fernando Torres.
So close. There's the stinger, and that's a good highlight save, but the save from the cross was the one for me. Look out.
Onside, Koke goes near post. Navas was leading and had to dive back to the near post to make the stop.
Does it again. Reads him like a nursery rhyme book. Jack and Jill went up the hill, near post, but the Tico man saves it beautifully. He's covering to the right side with all his weight. If it had been played to the right, Navas was ready to intercept. He's got the left low covered.
Headed in Godin, but off target. He's claiming he was held. The referee says no bother. All the reports.
Here's the one that I don't see anything there from Godin. No.
All the reports from the front office
there.
say that Real Madrid is going to continue to look to acquire David De Gea in the offseason. With what we've seen here in the first half, what we've seen over these first 25 games, you have to wonder why. Arguably, Keylor Navas, the best player on the park this season for Real Madrid. 2 minutes left, plus added time. First half play. Ronaldo behind Danilo, who scrambles back to get it. Isco tripped up, wants a foul. Ref says no. Yes. Torres setting up camp in the middle. Griezmann off the give and go. Atleti have not had a good shot up until this last flurry. Ramos hoping it would be touched out of play. Koke gives him a foul. Talk about it.
Spanish international teammates fighting like dentists and manicurists, tooth and nail in this game.
Volkswagen halftime show coming up with all the highlights and analysis of what has been a somewhat tactical first half with some heroics from Keylor Navas. Threaded in, James will get there.
Got options
Ronaldo
inside.
behind on his gifted left, but on his inside was Juanfran.
A good run from Isco, not served.
Second effort deflected out for a Real Madrid corner.
And wonderful defending by the bearded ex-Real Madrid man, Juanfran.
James is ready. Whips it across. Out comes Oblak with a two-fisted punch. Cross back inside. Gabi starts a break. Okay. Stripped again. Appeals for a handball. And he'll get the call. Haven't seen it much in this first half, Ray. But again, this is the type of game where Koke needs to impose himself for Atletico to have any chance.
I think he's done well. He's covered ground and defended the attacks. He'll be very happy to go into that half-time locker room with the way the red and whites, Los Colchoneros, have been playing. It's been typical of them, threatening in isolated raids, very much so, calling on some good saves by this man with the ball.
And that will do it for the opening half. Keylor Navas with 3 saves, neither team with a goal. Second half coming up on beIN Sports.
Wonderful tug-of-war match going on. One goal looks as if it will settle it. Who's it going to come from? Take a brave man to put money down on this one, Phil.